Bali, this question is from our Mexican visitor, and she has two questions. Isa lang po muna. She does not belong to any of the religions, but she said she has read Dogmas de Religiones, so she knows something about the Catholic teachings, Mormons, Adventists, and Christians. And her question is about the Mormons, that their doctrine is that Jose Smith po ba yun? Joseph Smith died as the way or the same manner as Christ died, and that he resurrected from the dead to teach to his disciples. She wants to know if that's biblical or not.
It is, of course, it is obviously not biblical. He did not die the way Jesus Christ died. He was imprisoned in the United States because of unlawful acts. The leader of the Mormon Church was imprisoned in the United States because of an unlawful act. See? And while he was in prison, he was killed by a mob when there was a raid that happened. It was some kind of a riot. Somebody shoot him. He did not die the very same way Jesus Christ died. It is not true. Can we read that? On June 26, the Illinois governor went to Smith's cell for a personal interview. After the meeting, Governor Ford traveled to Nauvoo, but left a small contingency on guards known as Carthage Grays, many of whom were hardly sympathetic to the Mormon prophet. In the late afternoon of the next day, a mob attacked the jail, rushing up the stairs to the cell that housed Joseph Smith and his colleagues. Leaning against the door, the incarcerated men attempted to defend themselves. Smith, who was armed with a pistol, smuggled to him by one of his visitors, Cyrus Wheelock, opened fire on the attackers. His 6-shot pistol discharged only 3 times, but according to eyewitnesses, John Taylor, remember, it was Joseph Smith who started firing his pistol that was smuggled into his prison cell. Then, all 3 bullets hit their mark. Still, there was no way the small group of men could overpower the mob. A musket ball penetrated the cell's wooden door and hit Hiram in the face. He fell back, his last words being, "I am a dead man." John Taylor was shot several times but was able to find cover under the bed. According to the official account, Smith then leaped toward the window of the cell and cried out, "Oh Lord, my God." Some believe he was attempting to give the Masonic signal of distress, but his unfinished cry went unheeded. As he reached the window, he was shot 3 times and fell 2 stories to the ground below. The mob then finished the deed by shooting Smith 1 more time. Only Richard escaped without injury. Today, the Latter-day Saints hail Smith as a martyr. A lamb led to the slaughter. You see that? He was shot. He was not nailed to the cross. He was shot by a mob because he started the shooting himself. Nauna siyang nagpapatok. That is the story of Joseph Smith, regarded by the Mormons as their prophet and a saint who was incarcerated because of unlawful acts he did against the American law. Yan po ang kasaysayan.
Na nabuhay daw po siya ulit para magturo daw po sa mga disciples.
Asan si Joseph Smith? Kung nabuhay siya ulit, if that happened, why did they place Brigham Young as the successor of Smith? Brigham Young, the second president of the Mormons, became the successor. That proves the fact that he did not resurrect. Hindi totoo, kwento lang yun eh. Kung nabuhay si Smith. There are so many things that Joseph Smith have done or have prophesied which did not come true. There are so many pronouncements of Smiths which failed. They failed. One of them is that they are going to erect a temple which will be the New Jerusalem in one of the states of America. Let us read that from one of the publications of the Mormon Church. And it failed. It did not materialize. Let us read from their book.
The Doctrines and Covenants, Section 84.
Section 84 of the Doctrines and Covenants of the Book of Mormon says,
A revelation of Jesus Christ unto his servant Joseph Smith, Jr. and 6 elders, as they united their hearts and lifted their voices on high. Yea, the word of the Lord concerning his church, established in the last days for the restoration of his people, as he has spoken by the mouth of his prophets, and for the gathering of his saints to stand upon Mount Zion, which shall be the city of New Jerusalem, which city shall be built, beginning at the temple lot, which is appointed by the finger of the Lord in the western boundaries of the state of Missouri, and dedicated by the hand of Joseph Smith, Jr., and others with whom the Lord was well pleased.
See, allegedly, in this book of Mormons, in the Doctrines and Covenants, allegedly there was a revelation given by God to Joseph Smith and 6 elders. There were 7 of them who received the revelation from the Lord that allegedly the city of Zion, or the New Jerusalem, will be established at Missouri. And look at the boundaries of Missouri, there is a New Jerusalem there. That's completely a lie of Joseph Smith and cohort. I wonder how Americans are being converted by these people. If you are just going to have a little delicadeza, you will not believe these people. Imagine pronouncing that New Jerusalem will be built in the state of Missouri. Where is that New Jerusalem now? It did not come to pass. You know, biblically speaking, where the New Jerusalem will be? Let us read. Revelation chapter 21 verses 1 and 2 says,
And I saw a new heaven and a new earth. For the first heaven and the first earth were passed away, and there was no more sea. And I, John, saw the holy city, New Jerusalem, coming down from God out of heaven.
You see, where will the New Jerusalem come? John saw it coming down from heaven, from the Father. It is not an earthly matter. It will come from the Father. The New Jerusalem will come from the Father, from heaven. It is not built here on earth. Joseph Smith once said that the New Jerusalem will be built within the boundaries of the state of Missouri. Is there a state called Missouri here? There is. Is there New Jerusalem there that you have heard? As famous as Disneyland? So, he is speaking a lie. He's telling a lie. It's not true. Because the New Jerusalem, biblically speaking, will descend from the Father in heaven. You see, these are simple truths to be understood in the Bible. If you read your Bible, which are hidden to people which join the group of Joseph Smith. You see this? This is a big lie. It's a big lie. It's not true. Is there any other question? Have she understood?
Habang sinasagot niyo po yung una niyang tanong, sabi po niya na matatag daw po yung samahan natin.